What changes when you're managing a director versus, an AE or manager? Like, is it kind of the same principles? Just, now you're, I don't know, but just at a higher level, or like, yeah, how do you think about kind of that challenge?
Yeah, so great question, and it's a difficult one because the balance gets harder and harder. The things that you loved the things that you loved about the frontline leadership role, you're in deals all the time, they need help, and you get to be the fixer, although there's a balance there, and you want to be really cautious to not just come in and fix everything, right? You're teaching, you're coaching, and not just fixing. But you do get to be involved in that. You get to see much quicker the outcomes of those conversations. So you do start getting a little bit further and further away from the day-to-day. That's one of the challenges, is to how do you prevent that from happening? How do you still keep your ear to the ground? How do you still keep yourself front and center in front of the reps? And I think the answer there is to break down barriers. One of the things that at least I try to, I can't say that I always do a great job. It's always a work in progress. But break down the barriers and not let I can't go talk to Chris because he's too busy. I can't go talk to Chris because the deal isn't big enough, or it's not vetted all the way through. And I work really hard to try to make sure that those barriers aren't there. That the same things that I love to do as a frontline manager, I still love to do. Um, while at the same time, you have to be more strategic. You're while instead of the reps are being your customers, now your managers, your directors are your customers in this example. So that creates a lot more forward thinking. So it's a lot more strategic. You're always working 6, 12 months in advance. You're trying to because things move slower, right? You can't make an immediate change like as a rep can and see an immediate difference. So that it's a comfortability level with just kind of, okay, we can put something into place. It's going to take a lot longer for it to get to the adoption level that we want at the rep level. Then once that does become adopted, how are we going to track it? How are we going to then coach to it? So that the levers get bigger and they move a little bit slower. And then the last piece to it is you start introducing a lot more of those kind of HR positions, HR conversations. You're dealing with things that you didn't necessarily get into the role for, but it's a reality, and you have to learn that very quickly.
Do you find, are you also like managing more by numbers in this role too, where it's like, I assume each director owns a quota and then you're kind of like, and then whoever's, missing their quota, that's where you kind of laser in on it. Like, is that kind of a little bit more about how you think about the team? Because I think that's where I ended up when I was a VP at Lattice. Like, it's a little harder in marketing the numbers, but I tried to build this like numbers infrastructure where I could kind of laser in the eye of Sauron and be like, okay, there's the problem. That's because it's a little harder when you're so many levels above the frontline people where the actual challenge is.
Dead on. You're dead on. You don't necessarily want to. You don't want it to come across as your only, trying to keep the individual contributors in mind at all times, and because you want to lose them in numbers. The numbers are for you, but yeah, you're the things that start becoming your senses of pride in that role are the ability to foresee risk in the number and really have forecasting buttoned down. So yes, you get really ingrained in the numbers, and you can start managing to those instead of leading through those. And they're very different things, right? Here's what I need you to do. Here's what you have to go do versus if you do this, this is what will happen. This is what it'll lead to. That's a much different conversation and lands a lot better.